Charles Darwin, The Voyage That Changed the World. Charles Darwin, a scrappy 22-year-old trying to find his place in the world, was offered the job of naturalist on the ship HMS Beagle in 1831. Little did he know his findings would turn the world of science on its head. The voyage took about 5 years, 2 years longer than expected, setting sail in December of 1831 and returning to England in October 1836. The official mission was to follow the coastline of South America to better their maps and better the understanding of the area. But Darwin's job was to make advances in science, explore new lands, collect new specimens. Darwin sent home over 1,500 specimens, many of those new species. During his travels, he found that many island species look like mainland species. Could this be a coincidence? Darwin especially noticed this while spending time on the Galapagos Islands. Birds, he noticed, were very unique to the area, yet resembled birds from mainland of South America. He began to think about these birds.
It's the variety of their beaks that's so amazing. They graduate perfectly in size. From this large, parrot-like beak, similar to a hawfinch, perfectly designed for cracking nuts, to this tiny warbler finch, fine as a chaffinch, to feed on insects.
And they're all descended from this one.
After examining the birds with experts, he said, one species has been taken and modified for different ends, coming to the conclusion that isolation on islands caused change. Darwin's notebook showed that he began to understand that species are not fixed, but ever-changing, and all species are related. And so he drew his most famous diagram, the evolutionary tree, with ancient forms at the bottom of the diagram and their descendants branching away at the top. Above the diagram, he simply wrote, "I think." He began to look for more evidence to support his radical theory.
All the same pattern. The bone structure in the hands and feet are all nearly identical.
More ideas came to him after reading an essay about human population, and he began to apply those ideas to animals and to nature.
The natural tendency of mankind is to reproduce. Humans can double their numbers every 25 years.
But they don't. A struggle for resources slows growth, and death and disease, war and famine check the population. I know the argument.
Yes, but don't you see exactly the same struggle takes place throughout nature?
Creation can make a difference. It's a contest, he thought, survival and reproduction of the fittest.
There must be a law which causes new species to appear in place of the extinct ones.
It took a letter by a young naturalist, Alfred Russel Wallace, outlining his shockingly similar ideas to get Darwin to publish his own theory. Darwin couldn't let someone else get the credit for coming up with the idea of evolution. Darwin, finally, after 15 years of waiting, published his book, The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, in 1858. The book was highly controversial to politicians, the church, even other scientists. An astronomer called Darwin's law of natural selection the law of higgledy-piggledy. Today, Darwin's theory is the most fundamental aspect of biology. Huge amounts of evidence support his radical theory of evolution.
If I were to give a prize for the single best idea anybody ever had, I'd give it to Darwin for the idea of natural selection.